Good morning, everybody. I hope you had a great evening. We've finally gotten some meaningful rain here in the eastern half of the state, the eastern or the southeastern quadrant, which was lacking. So everybody's happy about that. The state of Kansas now for the last 3 days has gotten pretty good coverage, border to border. The bond markets, the financials got slammed last night with the bottom coming in London, the second half hour of trading in London. That's where the support came from. So 127 is holding so far. We're looking at a pretty strong B pattern. We've got volume lower in the overnight session. So if we take a look at it, to me, it's just kind of where we were yesterday, this 27.16. As long as we can stay below 27.16, this market can sell. And yesterday we had big buying in calls. We didn't have any buying. In fact, we had some liquidation in puts. Now, liquidation in puts means that the big players are taking profits and anticipating a turn in the market. Huge positions in calls, if it's not the Fed, means that the market has sold a lot. They either have big short positions and they're insuring those positions, protecting those positions with calls, or they're also anticipating a turnaround. And we have today's ADP number at 205. We have productivity at minus 1.9, and we have labor costs at plus 4.6. Now, this increased labor cost comes from having to pay up to get people to fill positions, which means that, you know, certain parts of the economy are stronger, or certainly need the right kind of employment, or it comes from inflation, one or the other. And right now, my guess is that the increased labor costs are going to people that they need, that are technically competent, that they need to keep in place, or lose them to their competitors. At the bottom end of the market, those that are low-skilled workers that don't have this, I mean, we know that 12 million people have quit looking for jobs, and we know what the hit that's happened in the construction market. And if you've ever been to a retail store of late, if the machines didn't do the calculations for most of these people, they would be stuck. So my guess is that in critical, high-tech jobs that require competence, that they are having to pay up to protect their labor force. A lot of the economic news has softened again this week in the United States. If the economy is a state of mind, your consumer sentiment, your satisfaction through Bloomberg, through Gallup, through the traditional or the larger measurements has decreased this week. And the economy really is a state of mind. It's the willingness to forego today to make an investment in anticipation of a higher return down the road, and I don't see that happening. So today's news focus, 205, ADP, productivity and unit labor cost will play, but not to the extent that ADP does, and that number comes early, 8:15 Eastern. So we have a tail down here. We've rejected prices below 4, so 1 to 5 is going to be buy 1. It's just leaning against the structure. 25 to 29 is buy 2. On the sell side, I'm going to make it 11 to 15. We're going to come in under 16, and then 19 to 23. Usually after the heavy selling that we've had, you don't get, without a major piece of news, the market turning on a dime and going the other way. And Friday's news, non-farm payroll, is the big piece of news, in my opinion, and that tends to hold the market in check. Now, if you think the note got hit last night, take a look at what happened in the 30-year. And a lot of this is the knob spread. I mean, the bottom has fallen out of that market. When a couple of weeks ago it was at 35, and it's in the 28s right now. $7,000 in a couple of weeks. Huge, huge, huge move. Okay, we've got rejection of prices under 55.04, so 1 to 5, buy 1. $25 to 29, buy 2. We're just going to lean against the structure. And we may have to pay up to get in. This ADP news will change things. We've got volume at 24 and volume at 28. So 19 to 23. We got this attractor at 28. We'll make it 31 to 03. We're going to give it a little bit of room, but we'll come back after the ADP number and adjust that. Okay, gold. Yesterday we left gold hoping to sell 98 to 1200. Didn't make it. 95 held, and that was a possibility. People got short, really against the high volume number from yesterday, against the 96, 97 area. The market has drifted down. And so right now we got a pretty clean break at 92. The last rotate up in London was just under 94. Then 95, and we're currently at 88.50, so here's your break right there. So 92 to 95 is sell 1. $98 to the buck, sell 2. On the buy side, we're at support, 85 plus or minus, buy 1. Then 80 to 82, buy 2. With Friday's number, I don't see the bottom falling out of the market. But if we're large sellers, the large player that comes in and works the gold market, it's from the short side. So if you're long, you be sure to have a protective stop. You won't like the fill, but if you let it go and try to get out at a better price, you can get your head handed to you in this market. Okay, the euro's kind of tough to read right now. Greece, the leadership that was just elected in Greece got elected off of rhetoric that they were going to stick it to the EU and the ECB, and they weren't going to take it anymore. And Greece is trying to preserve their unaffordable lifestyle, especially for government workers, who for the most part are in very, very militant unions. And again, I put an article up early about, the history of mankind, and if you really want to learn something quickly, it comes from crises, and the biggest crisis, one that's used by politicians regularly, is, the threat of war. But when you're actually in a wartime condition, if you don't make the right decisions, you're gone. And so it really boils down human nature, the ability for intelligence in crisis situations. So nothing's going to happen to Greece. Those people will not willingly give up what they've got right now without a fight. And so that usually, it's got the same problem that faces every country. You just get to the point where you just can no longer afford it. There is no cash flow. And yeah, we made all these promises we can't fulfill. There's no money there. Do what you want to do, but there's still no money there. And that's when you usually get some sort of resolution. So right now, looking at the euro, we've got volume starting at the 1150 area. The central price is 1200. We've got a low volume up here at 1275, which was our second sell zone last night. So Right now we're at 34, so 50 plus or minus is sell 1, sell 2, 75 plus or minus. On the buy side, buy 1 is 1,200, and buy 2 will be 50 to 60. Don't think this market can move until there is some resolution in the Greek deal, and they said a payment was due tomorrow. Then we roll to the 12th, and knowing the EU, I'm sure the can will be kicked down to the road until the 12th, and I'm sure it'll be kicked down the road once again when we get to the 12th. It's a tough deal, and it probably will not resolve itself in Greece without heavy police intervention or military intervention to try to maintain a civil society. Okay, crude. We had 61.50, then resistance really jumps up to the 63.25 area. So 62 and a quarter, sell 1. Strong market. It's all attributed to a short squeeze, and 62.75, 63 for sell 2. On the buy side, 61 and a quarter. And then 60, 50, 60, 75. Yeah, that I saw the articles at the end of last week, and then the regions failed to do that because they didn't want riots in their region. They're looking for a build of plus 1.3 in crude. Last week, the rally exploded when there was a draw of 500,000 barrels at Cushing. So if there's another draw, if inventories are drawn down, this market can rally. Tough situation, Fitz. I don't expect it to be resolved peacefully. In the United States, we still don't, outside of the inner cities, we don't take to the streets and riot and kill people. Rhode Island, a municipal unit in Rhode Island could not make the pension that have been promised to firefighters, policemen, city employees that have retired. And they took a 75% haircut. And it just got down, riot, scream, raise hell, do all you want to do. There's no money there. We don't have the tax base to support it. There's not going to be any money there because our community isn't growing. Would you like something? The city of Detroit has been able to cut benefits to their pensioners. Not by that amount. I think it's about 25%, but something's better than nothing. And again, the taxpayer or the people that depend on others to take care of them take it in the shorts. You've got to be independent. You've got to take care of yourself first. And you believe the pictures painted by politicians of all stripes, you're going to get yourself in trouble at some point. Okay, the E-mini, 80.82 is pretty good support. Then it's 67 to 75. What we don't have is that second day of follow-through selling. Strong economic news takes the market down. Weak economic news takes the market up. So ADP, EDP, $205. That number comes in less than 200,000. The market will rally, or should rally, because it's too weak for the Fed to cut, to raise interest rates. Productivity, productivity goes down at the start of a recession because you've got too many people employed. So productivity, this could be a precursor or a warning sign that we're transitioning into weaker economic times, maybe a recession if you believe the first quarter GDP numbers. And then unit labor costs, we talked about that before. That's a plus number. And this is a split. It's hard to believe that unit labor costs are going up. I had one of the fellows that I train with is with Union Pacific, and there's major layoffs, furloughs going on in the rail industry right now, and they carry heavy commodities. They transport a lot of goods in containers, and so the economy, as far as they're concerned, is slowing down. UPS and FedEx numbers show the economy is slowing down. So this decreased productivity reflects that companies aren't firing as fast as their business activity is slowing down. So we've got resistance. Last rotate up yesterday afternoon, stopped in the 95 area. Getting stops above the overnight session high. Got the ADP numbers, so 94, 96, sell 1. 99.01, sell 2. On the buy side, this 85 area, plus or minus. Then 80, 82, buy 2. And we'll adjust it after the ADP number. I'll see you in about 6 or 7 minutes and get busy on my other work. I'll be talking to you after the ADP number comes out. Looking for 205 later.